I yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from New York, Representative Ed Towns.
The gentleman from New York is yielded 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, from the gentleman from New Jersey, for yielding time to me, and to say that I think the leadership of this House, I think Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and I think Ike Skelton, and of course for bringing this resolution forward. You know, I served in the military, and I have great admiration and respect for the military. And I also cannot understand why people are saying that if you support this resolution, you're not supporting the troops. I can't make that connection, because I support the troops, but I must admit, and I also support this resolution. Mr. Speaker, 4 years have passed since this administration began its ill-fated war in Iraq. No weapons of mass destruction have been found. No coalition of nations has fought in the war. And the American people are still waiting for a plan for a real war against terrorism. Though Saddam Hussein is now dead, this fact alone has not been worth nearly $400 billion, that's B as in boy, in taxpayer funds, the loss of 3,000 lives and 26,000 casualties. What message does this send to the American people? I've been hearing this all day long coming from the minority side. Let me tell you what the message is that we're sending to the American people, that our priorities are upside down and we need to fix them. I've opposed this war from the very beginning because I was concerned that we would come to this point where we would spend all the money on the war and not have the resources to do the things to keep our nation and to make our nation strong. Almost everybody, all speakers on the other side, express their support for the troops. I want you to know on this side, we also express our support for the troops. This administration has asked us to cut funding for children. For children's health insurance, we're asked to cut critical funds for Medicaid and Medicare. A loss of dollars that may cripple our public health system. Many of our hospitals are actually closing, and we are asked to provide token funding so no child left behind becomes most children now are left behind. This war and its budgetary requirements are squeezing the American people. And I say that enough is enough. But no, the administration is asking for 20,000 more combat troops and approximately 15,000 support troops. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that will cost probably approximately $13 billion. This administration has had troop surges in the past. This is not new. What is the difference about this troop surge? It is more of the same, just more targets we are sending. In October, the administration sent more combat troops into Baghdad to attempt to end the growing violence. However, the violence in Baghdad has only grown worse. Now, the United States military is caught up in a very violent civil war, something they are neither trained nor equipped to deal with. Sending additional troops to Iraq actually makes things worse for Iraqi civilians and for our troops. And our military is already stretched too thin. Many soldiers are doing 2 and 3 and 4 tours of duty. The administration now plans to send additional troops into a city almost the size of New York City. and they may have to go house to house in order to keep warring sides from killing each other. What message does this send to the American people? When we tell them we have no more money for children's health insurance, no more money for Medicaid, no more money for Medicare, no more money for senior programs, and no more money for children's education. Mr. Chairman, may I have additional 30 seconds?
30 seconds to the gentleman.
Gentleman is recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And how do you think the American people will react to more fatalities and more wounded? How long will Congress keep supporting a war that has nothing to do with ending terrorism? I ask the question tonight, how long? Will this administration keep ignoring the real needs of the American people? Is it for America to withdraw from Iraq and focus on the real business of the American people? Better health care, more jobs, education for all of our children. We should not send an additional 21,500 troops. That only means we are sending additional targets into the area. On that note, I yield back.